Welcome to Bring Out Your Badass Self, a movement to break your negative thoughts and habits and instead focus on building each other up and encouraging fearless authenticity.
Each week, we will get vulnerable and share experiences alongside our guests and audience. Come rediscover your inner badass self.
Good morning, BOYBAS Nation. Today, as you can see, we have a special co-host. Kate is out today. She has a family conflict, but I'm excited about today's co-host. And I thought I might do a bit of an intro about her. But first, I also just want to welcome you to our third episode related to the law of energy. So please say hello as you join us. So who do I have with us today? My daughter. And if you don't mind, I would like to give you a verbal hug and tell people about you, Riley. And so my daughter is my favorite person on this planet. And she has some of the most amazing energy, which is perfect for today's topic. And when she was little, I used to tease her that she was stealing my energy because she is just a ball of energy, which is why I labeled this particular episode Ball of Energy. And she was like a light switch. It was either on or it was off. And now that she has grown into a young woman, she's learning more about her energy and the energy she puts out into this universe. And I have found people are drawn to her energy. You know, how moths are attracted to the light. She is the light. And her sparkling energy radiates, and her energy can be reserved at first until you get to know her. And she emits kindness, yet strength. And we have discussed boundaries and respecting each other's space. She also teaches me things every day. She amazes me each day with her insightful and curiosity. And so with that intro, I would like to welcome my daughter, Riley. Welcome, Riley.
Hi, everybody.
And so she definitely keeps me young, and she might even teach some of us today some Gen Z lingo. Anything is possible today, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, for Riley, one of the things I want to remind her of is that we are used to our car chats. And so today is going to be just us talking about energy. And so I know once we go live, a lot of times people will get nervous and go, oh my gosh. But as we start talking, just, as you always do, you are always inquisitive in asking questions. You're also inquisitive in just the way that you look at the world. And so really today, I just want for people to be able to see the amazing woman that I know. And I also want to make sure that everyone today also joins us in the conversation today. As we talk about energy, we're going to pose several questions throughout today. And we're going to pose it not only to each other, but we're also going to pose it to the audience. So I already see lots of people coming in to support you, Riley. Can you see it?
The one that said Riley, I feel like that's.
And so this is Grandma, morning from Mom. So that's Grandma Nervy Driver.
Hi, Grandma. I didn't know who that was.
And then this is Carrie, I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
And this is Joel. He says,
hi, Joel. Morning. I know you.
And then Eric, good badass morning. And Riley, whoop whoop. Awesome.
And Corman.
Yes, Riley, good morning, my favorite beautiful badasses. So you get to be a badass today.
I'm every day.
I love it. Oh, man, this is amazing. All right. Well, everybody today, continue to let us know that you are here and say hello. And Riley, I also want to just tell people how things transpired. So the other day, Kate let me know that she had a family conflict, and I was actually planning on going live on my own and seeing what it was going to be like. And Riley was like, wait, well, I'll join you. Like, let me join you. And I was like, okay, so you really want to join? We're going to be talking about energy. And she said, yes. So tell maybe the audience a little bit about Why did you want to join today?
I don't know. It just seemed really cool. Like you get to talk to people and like it just like seemed really cool.
That's awesome. All right, Bryce is here today as well. He is on the West Coast, so he's up super early. He's out up at 7 o'clock this morning joining in. So he said, "Good morning, awesome that Riley joined, super badass."
Geez, 7 a.m.
Just think about it. You're going to be doing that for high school. She's going to high school next year, and she's going to be getting up probably at like 5:30 in the morning, right?
No.
She's like, no. So Carrie says, bring on the Gen Z lingo, by the way.
I can't keep it out, so I don't know what to do.
Or just show the audience what you were doing with me earlier. No, you can't do that?
No.
All right, maybe later as she gets a little bit more comfortable as we go through today. And so as we think about today's topic on the law of energy, so this is our third installment of this particular topic. One of the posts that I did was about your vibe and your tribe. And so when you are finally tuned into your true frequency and realize your family has been broadcasting the whole time, sometimes it just takes the right vibe to find your tribe. And so, Riley, maybe you can start us off with when you read that this morning, when I showed you that, what did you think about as far as the vibe that you let off? How does that influence the people that you attract?
I don't know. I think that like with our family and all of that, you've kind of helped me with my vibe and energy. So like I feel like kind of my vibe is a little bit of yours.
Okay.
So like,
and explain what that vibe is like.
I don't know, like very happy. You know, we always start the morning off in like a good tone, a morning like you always come in with my morning like singing, coming in my room. Sometimes it's a little annoying, but it's a good energy.
One of the things that has always been important to me that I've read is that you can help your kids start off the day with good energy. And so as parents, we set the tone. So if we're getting on to you, or if we're like, like I didn't do this or things like that, it really impacts. So one of the things that I've always tried to do is tell you, I love you and I hope you have an amazing day and things like that. So if you were to talk to other parents, can you maybe tell them a little bit about how that impacts you?
I mean, it's really important because whenever I go to school, if I go to school unhappy or something like pissed off or about something, then my day is already kind of ruined. Like I don't get to have like as good as a day if I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Lisa is also here. She's from LinkedIn. And so she actually talks about menopause. You know what menopause is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so she says, hello, beautiful badasses. So thank you so much for joining us, Lisa. And then Jen Ross, you actually met her. You did some crocheting with her. Yeah. She says, good morning from the Sunshine State. Love this so much. You are such a gorgeous badass, Riley. I'm in and out listening today. Have a great day with good energy. So thank you so much, Jen. All right. Well, Riley, maybe we can start off with some of those questions that we can also pose to the audience as well. And so when you start to think about specific environments or activities, what makes you feel energized?
It really depends on my mood because there's so many things that make me energized. Like relaxing things makes me energized. A shower is a way to make me feel better. Or doing skincare, doing my makeup, it makes me feel satisfied with like my energy. But I also love hanging out with my friends, like going to Six Flags. That was one of the best. Like that made me so happy. It really depends on like what I'm doing. I have no idea anymore. A lot of things make me feel energized.
Yeah, I've noticed that you get really energized. A lot of times you'll just go out and still jump on the trampoline. Is that something that also helps you from an energy perspective?
Yeah, it really, I just It's fun to do. I just get bored at sometimes, and I'm like, I'm bored. I'm gonna go outside.
I love that. And then how do your friends impact you from an energy perspective?
I would say most of my friends make me feel more energized in myself. They make me feel like help me out with my energy. You know, all of my friends have different ways of like hanging out. Like a lot of my friends are athletic, a lot of my friends are not athletic. So we just like sit there sometimes playing Roblox or something. So my friends, it depends on what we like to do together.
Yeah. For me, specific activities or environments that make me feel energized, I love my morning time when I am able to just sit and be creative. I will sit there and be inspired by different things. It helps me to just think about the world and how it is that I can give back. And for me, that's one of the ways that I get energized in life. Uh, and then whenever I think about other ways that I feel energized, sometimes just meditating. It's taken me a while to be able to do that, and I know you and I have talked about that, and that is something that you're like, that's not really my thing. But I find that maybe the trampoline for you is like a meditation. What do you think about that?
I thought meditation was supposed to be like quiet in your own mind.
Hmm.
Whenever I'm
It,
on a trampoline, I usually listen to music or something.
yeah. And so it depends. I think a lot of people need sometimes energy or to do something physical to help them. It's really when I meditate, it's a lot of times just having some time to reflect. And so when you're sitting there and jumping and on the trampoline, I know you listen to music, but is there a time that you ever just reflect on your life or reflect on the things that are going on?
I wouldn't say on the trampoline. I would say whenever I'm taking a shower,
Mm,
that's when I'm in my most like thinking about my problems and all of that.
okay. And is that also a place that you go when you are trying, maybe when you feel, and I'll go to this other question, times when you feel drained, does that also help you to restore your energy? And I also would like to hear from our audience as well.
Yeah. I definitely showers make me feel so much better and it helps me get my energy back. It makes me feel clean. It helps me think about my problems. It's a quiet place where no one can bother me.
Yeah, I love
And
that.
I think that everyone needs a place where they can't be bothered.
Mm. Truer words have never been spoken. Uh, Having a place, a safe place that you can go and just think, and however it is that you do that. And so water, I don't know if you know this, but water is actually one of a very healing type of energy. We are made of I think 70% of water, and the majority of the earth is also water. So water plays a huge part in actually restoration
Yeah.
of the world, and not only cleansing, but also just it's important for us to live, and also help us to revive ourselves.
Yeah.
Looks like we have some things coming in. Let me bounce back over there. So Myra has joined us. And
Hi,
so good
Myra.
morning, ladies. Riley. Carrie asked, Riley, do you get energy from being around people or do you feel drained? I know that some introverts get exhausted around people. I love this question. Thank you, Carrie.
For me, I at the beginning, whenever I'm talking to someone or hanging out with someone, I like get a burst of energy. Like before I even like meet with them, but as soon as I'm with them, I get a burst of energy and then it slowly starts to like go down until I'm like done with talking. Like I'm done. Like people can definitely tell when I'm done with them. Like I'm done.
Done with the conversation or done
No,
with this?
I'm just done. I'm done. Like, I want to go home. I'm tired. Get me out of here.
All right. So you need some time to replenish, and so you start off really strong, but there's a point that you're just like, I've had enough.
Yeah, it depends on like what I'm doing. Like, if I'm just hanging out with someone for like 3 to 4 hours, I'll be fine. But if I'm having like a 3-day sleepover, I'm tired. I'm tired.
Yep. I've noticed that people get energy from you as well. Was there a funny comment that came up? Let me pull.
Carrie said, "I've seen them."
That I've seen done. So Carrie has called her and is giving her advice, and Riley's like, "Yeah, I'm done." I think we've all seen done. I've had Riley, who I'm talking to her, and she's just next to me going. You can definitely tell that smile goes to, yeah, no, I've had it.
My answers become okay.
You turn into Dad's text messages.
Yeah, just start putting up thumbs ups.
I don't even think he does that. I think he just goes, okay.
Oh my goodness. It looks like I'm a fan trying to text him, bro. He's like, I literally look like a fan. Like, he'll just scroll up and it's just, okay. And I got like paragraphs on my side.
Well, here, let me ask you a question that I wasn't planning to ask you. But when you think about my energy, and I'm about to ask you about Dad's, how would you describe my energy?
You definitely have a bunch of it in the morning, and then when you come to like the end of the day, you're like so tired, so drained, all of that stuff. But your energy, I would say comforting and like helpful, all that stuff.
Okay. All right. What about Dad?
It is just fun.
I was talking about that with him today. I saw this video of this guy that was on a surfboard, and he had his child on the front of the surfboard without a life jacket or anything like that. But you could tell this wasn't the first time he had been doing it. He picks up the kid. He ends up putting him like he used to put you in the pool, and then he's like standing on top of him. He pushes his his feet up in his hands while they're still on the surfboard. And I was just like, that's Dad energy for me. Like, dads are supposed to give that type of energy or that confidence of just going after things, and where moms are sometimes tend to be a little bit more protective in things. What do you think? How does that resonate with you? Do you feel like you have that with us, or do you feel like either of us do the opposite as well?
I feel like both of y'all are definitely protective. I think I've noticed Dad's protectiveness more because of all the situations where he's like jumped in. And definitely your energy is like comforting and like protecting and like all that stuff. And then Dad, yeah, his is fun. Like, he's just there to have fun with everyone.
Yeah, where ours is more like, let's have some deep talks.
Yeah. He's very surface.
So Carrie said, I remember the cheerleader stunts in the pool when you were a baby.
I was great. I was a little rock star.
Yeah. You still are a rock star.
Yeah, but I can't do any of it now.
Well, I think you probably could. I'm not sure Dad can. There's only so much, he needs that smaller, tiny little kid. Say that again.
Tennis arm.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'd love to hear from the audience as far as things that, times you felt completely drained and what helps you restore your energy, or things that you feel like give you energy. And so I also want to ask you, Riley, so are there times when you've noticed shifts in your energy, and what triggers those changes?
Usually somebody either yelling at me or someone who's upset with me. Mostly yelling at me because I can't handle yelling. So that's definitely like I completely shut off and I'm like quiet, done with the conversation.
Yeah. Are there other things that also shift your energy when you think about it?
I don't know. Why don't you go?
Okay. Yeah, things that shift my energy. I've been really working on not um, having other people's shift my energy. One of the things that I would say that probably shifts my energy is when I'm having a conversation with people and they're inviting a conversation to have a deep conversation, but then they just sort of completely shut you off. To me, I'd rather just not even start the conversation than to even attempt it. It's like either let's have the conversation. And I understand there are also boundaries, but there's also a way to do that. Like, hey, this conversation is too much for me. Let's maybe come back at this at another time instead of just like ghosting. And for me, that's one of the things that ends up impacting, I would say probably triggers me from an energy perspective.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed whenever like you're trying to have a conversation, like you kind of just like stop. And you kind of get upset a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Mainly because I feel like I'm giving them my energy. I'm giving them my attention, and I care about them. So I want to have a conversation with them. And so sometimes when they, do the opposite and just completely pull away, but don't say like, hey, I just need some time. That is probably one of the things that ends up impacting me.
Yeah.
Bryce says physical exercise gives me energy. What do you think about that? Does that help you?
I don't know. It makes me tired. I'm done.
He said it can be exhausting short term, but helps give me energy throughout the day. When I used to have the guy that would come here and work out, I did find that whenever I would work out in the morning, yes, in the short term, I would feel a little bit exhausted, but I also found that really helped me throughout the day. I had more energy. What do you think about exercise being in the morning or later on the day or things like that? I know that with you have exercise-induced asthma, which it is impacted, but does it help you? Because you do a lot of different activities and things like that.
I would definitely say doing it in the afternoon or nighttime is where like it helps me the best. In the morning, it makes me like kind of tired, and I'm already like it's using a lot of my energy, which makes me have like less energy throughout the day.
Yeah.
So I say they would take away my energy instead of making me have more.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Jen here says, my go-to for energy, biking, tennis, or I have zero energy, simply bird watching from my patio. And watching them and their energy and their freedom lifts me up and also gives me hope and positivity. What do you think about? I really like watching nature as well. That does also give me energy. And I know you and I, love seeing cardinals and things like that as far as birds. Is there anything from an animal perspective that also gives you energy, or nature?
I don't really know. I'm not able to like see many animals in my like day, so I'm.
But you see animals, and
barely.
Oh, every time you go over to a friend's house, which is like every other day.
Yeah, I stay clear of their dog, bro.
Oh, because they're very they're big hyper dogs.
Oh my goodness, yes. My friend's 2 dogs. Oh my goodness. They're so cute, but they are so much. They are so much. They're so tall. They're so tall. They jump everywhere. Oh my goodness. Like if they like, whenever they stand up, it'd be taller than me.
Yeah.
It's terrifying. It's terrifying.
Well, and you're also allergic to dogs, so that doesn't help, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Bryce breaks up a good question. So, can you identify an instance when physical, emotional, or spiritual energy affected the other? So, think about your physical energy and how does that, and maybe let's dive in a little bit and talk about what each are. So, when you think about physical energy, what comes to mind for you?
Working out, basically moving your body in any way.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
think that's physical energy.
Yeah. What would you consider emotional energy?
I would say feelings, like
Mhm.
whenever you're having a conversation with someone and you start to feel some certain way, that's definitely emotional.
Yeah. And then spiritual energy. What would you equate to spiritual energy?
I'm still not totally sure of all of that stuff, but I would say it's more like, I don't know.
Okay.
Like, I have no idea, really.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And so I agree with you on physical energy. It's how your body feels and how it might react to things. And then from an emotional perspective, right on related to how you're feeling emotional, that those emotional feelings. And then the spiritual energy for me is the next level. Like you have to have, I feel like a lot of times you have to have a good base or a foundation from a physical perspective, which then impacts the emotional, which then impacts the spiritual. And so, spiritual for me is not religion. It is more your belief in the universe, your intuition, your knowing. It's connecting for me. It's connecting with your higher self, in being in alignment with your purpose and things like that. So, when I say that, how does that resonate with you?
I don't do that quite yet,
Okay.
so I haven't figured out a lot of the spiritual stuff.
Yeah. And that makes sense. You're still evolving, you're still figuring yourself out. You're still figuring out I would say physically you're doing pretty good with all the stuff you do with aerial silks, and you've done volleyball and you're just an all-around athlete. Emotionally, I would say you're probably one of the most emotionally intelligent kids, young ladies that I've ever seen, and sometimes even more emotionally intelligent than a lot of adults that are in the world as well. What do you think about that?
Well, it's because like you've been able to teach me all this stuff.
I
It's
gotcha.
because you've let me be open, be free to figuring out myself. And a
Mm,
lot of people don't have that.
yeah,
So,
that's an important point. Um, Feeling free to be able to express yourself and discover yourself. What do you think about? I mean, because that really is energy as well. And so think about when people feel repressed. They feel that the energy that they're getting from their parents is don't express yourself, don't be your true self. Have you seen that from friends or even acquaintances or people that you know?
definitely. They also have ways to express themselves other ways, like at school where their parents can't see them. Is
Yeah.
I've noticed is a way they express themselves. It's not probably as healthy, but it is a way to also help them like express themselves.
Yeah. And so they're not able to do that with their parents, but they find a way to do it at school, maybe with their friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever noticed negative things for people that don't really feel like they're able to express themselves freely with their parents?
Negatively, I mean, there's definitely people out there who have a different way of expressing themselves at school than at home because they're very rude at school and then very polite at home, which is totally a different person at that point.
Okay. What about ways that it impacts them, even with maybe the choices that they make in life? sometimes when we feel repressed, we sometimes, do things that we try to, the things we can control. So sometimes that can be anything from food to, um, drinking, drugs, different things like that. So sometimes kids will go towards those types of things when they don't feel like they can truly have a conversation and be able to express themselves. Have you seen those types of things with people?
Yeah. One of my friends, especially, she was at a moment in her life where she was very like upset. She couldn't talk to her parents about a lot of things. She felt like kind of singled out and during her siblings, and she like just started like, because she also like had an injury that impacted her where she couldn't go exercise, so she would like stay in her room and like eat a bunch and all of that stuff, and that really like dragged her down until like she got her like injury fixed, and then she like went out, found new friends and all of that stuff.
Okay. Yeah. There's some more things coming in. Carrie says, I'm drained around most people, but especially negative, superficial people. So comedy, I totally agree with this. This is one of the things that I love. Like whenever I want to watch TV, I want to watch comedy. I want to laugh. She says comedy helps my energy, body, as do baths, and good food and grounding at the beach and moderate exercise and morning meditations. What do you think about those things?
Definitely comedy.
Yeah. Comedy.
Comedy. You need to have a good laugh in your life.
You do.
And our family is big on like funny and stuff like that.
Yeah. It was funny. This Riley asked me, she was like, Mom, you're so serious. On BOYBAS though, do you laugh? Like, do you have fun? And I was like, yeah. What do you think?
Because like I've seen you at work, and I like I've heard you on phone calls, and you're so serious about everything, and it's like, and I was like, this is technically at work, so like.
Well, it is like a job in some ways, but it's a different business. It's also about being able to, also completely be yourself. And I would say yes, many times I'm a very serious person, but you probably haven't seen me in the business setting. I think a lot of people do see me also having fun as well. And so we have some people from my work, so maybe they can. I do think that I'm probably more on the serious side, but I also like to have fun too. And so maybe we can hear from them on what they think. And so Divine is here. She says, hello, loves. And she also says a beautiful co-host, big saggy energy. I don't know what that means. Oh, saggy. She's talking about you being a sag. I was thinking saggy. I was like, saggy.
I was thinking that too. I was like, how'd you know I was wearing sweatpants?
Oh, that's hilarious. And so, yes, she's talking about you being a Sagittarius.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so.
Did she know that, or did she figure that out?
No, I think we've talked about that. Yeah.
Okay.
You being a Sag. And so what about Sag energy, Sagittarius energy? What are they like?
Adventurous. They're big on freedom, hard to commit to things. I definitely one of those.
She's like, check. Oh gosh. All right. What's Scorpio energy?
Mysterious. Hard to read.
Ooh.
You're very hard to read.
Oh, I am?
Yeah, like definitely. A lot of people get you like mistaken you for some kind of way, and they're completely wrong. Completely.
What kind of way do they interpret me? You can say it, just say it.
Okay, a lot of people they think you're like mean, kind of bitchy. Miss Diana, she thought you were rude.
Yeah, well, so it was funny. I had a conversation with her, and she was talking about her intuition and things like that. And she's like, sometimes I really mess things up. Like I think someone's going to be super nice and then they turn out not to be. And she goes, and then people that I thought were going to be nice are like super nice. And I looked at her and I was like, well, which was I? And she was like, I'm going to be honest. I thought you were, not going to be nice. And then you turned out to be nice.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Carrie also says, how do you respond to your gut impressions? Do you always follow your gut? That's a spiritual connection, in my humble opinion. Yes. And so, in my opinion. So how do you respond to your gut impression, or do you follow your gut?
I definitely follow my gut, but sometimes I confuse gut for being scared. So I follow both. So like you remember that day we were having like a big storm?
Uh-huh.
And you remember those trees?
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna like have a tree fall down on us. So I was like, I'm done. Get me out of here.
So we went to the basement, and that's fine. We just chilled out down there.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I said to you the other day that I have found the difference between intuition or following your gut and also fear is that for me, intuition comes in with a peace, meaning I just know it. Like this is happening. It's not necessarily a fear. It's just like it's a calm energy or information that's given to me. When I am in fear, it's anxiety or it's, I feel different. When you think about fear, the anxiety and things like that, a lot of times that's rooted in fear. Whereas my intuition is like, I think this is going to happen. And it's just more of a calm knowing type of feeling. And so I'm curious with the audience, how does that resonate with you with intuition or connecting spiritually, spiritual energy and trusting your gut? Divine also loved that, this part, free to figure out herself. She said yes. And she also said facts or more free at home and restricted at school or vice versa. And she also said emotional support is so important. And Bryce also said, definitely agree with comedy. Divine said, laughter feeds the soul and inner child for sure. She also said, BOYBAS is Sarah's authentic space. I love it. Thank you, Divine. Yeah, she said Sagittarius. And so I figured that out. Thank you. Bryce said, it's hard not to be serious at work. I'm also guilty, but Sarah definitely helps bring the fun. So thank you for that, Bryce. So I'm not just, a stick in the mud. I'm not just serious about things. Carrie also said, Sarah's both serious and spontaneous fun. I do like spontaneity. Let's just go do something, right?
Yeah.
Do we would you consider me spontaneous?
Some ways, yeah.
Okay. In what ways?
Like, sometimes you'll just be like, you want to go get Starbucks? And I'm never going to say no to that question, okay? Like, that's never a no. Like, even if I just ate, I'm going to say yes. Like, that's not even a question at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, you're feeling some way and you're like, I want to do this. And I'm like, I ain't saying no.
And that's when we have some amazing conversations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Divine also said, yes, she knows her energy. I think she's talking about you. Like you were right on track with like who you are, adventurous. You also, what were the other things you said? Adventurous.
Got a commitment.
That's the one that made me laugh. Come on, girl, just commit. No, not yet.
No, I'm good.
All right. Thank you for joining us. Good morning, Abbas. And so thank you for joining us and seeing my lovely daughter here today. She is my special co-host today as we're talking about energy and exploring energy. Divine, yes, Scorpio is mysterious, feels deeply, highly intuitive, direct, and self-empowered. And so that's what Divine does for a living, by the way. She helps people with understanding more about astrology, about their energy. And so she used to do, and I really miss these. I was thinking about this today on this particular topic. It was called energy check-ins. And so she would do them, and it was an audio event on LinkedIn, and they got rid of the audio things, but we would just come in and just do like audio, check. And I just remember her doing that. She has the most amazing energy as well. She's also a Scorpio, by the way.
Oh, that kind of makes sense.
And then Carrie says, fear for me blocks my faith. What do you think about that?
I feel like I definitely feel fearful at times, but I don't think it's ever blocked like me from doing something. I think it keeps me from killing myself, but it's not. It's definitely, because if I wasn't fearful, I'd probably jump out a window.
So funny enough that we're talking about the word fear. The last time Riley was on was the episode 13 that we talked about fear and being fearless and things like that. And that was a really good episode for those that might want to go back and take a look at that. That was episode 13. Today is 108. So that's been a lot of episodes back.
Yeah, I remember it. It was a while ago.
Mm-hmm. We did it in our backyard next to the trampoline.
Yeah.
And we had your friend join us as well.
Mm-hmm.
Peyton. Yeah. So tell me what you think about this. Joel says, some people are at first intimidated by Sarah's directness and brevity, especially when communicating and writing.
I don't know what brevity is.
So shortness.
What?
Direct and short, like, getting to the point.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does that resonate?
I definitely think that you're good at confrontation and all of that stuff. Like, you're immediately like, we need to solve this problem. Here's the problem. We got to get on it.
Yeah. It is interesting. Carmen also says Sarah gives the best vibes, heartwarming, serious, loving, passionate, and respectful. It is interesting. I have found that people either feel I'm this way or they're intimidated by me. It is either one or the other. I also wonder if people that like they're, it's a reflection, because we're supposed to be like a mirror. So people see in them, the things sometimes that they want out of themselves. So if they feel intimidated, sometimes it's like, oh, I see something in that person, maybe it's their confidence or maybe it's the things. And so I want that for myself. So they instead see it as intimidating, where other people that, and I'm thinking about like Carmen, for example. Carmen's pretty fearless and intimidating too. So she wouldn't necessarily see me as intimidating. She sees me more as like, great vibes and heartwarming. So yeah. I'm curious about what people think about that, because we're supposed to be a mirror of, either it's seeing something that we like and we also like in ourselves, or we see things that maybe we also like, but we haven't quite figured it out for ourselves.
Yeah. A lot of my friends at first, like, were really scared of, like, my family. But, like, yes, like, at my friend's birthday party yesterday, they were like, I love your mom. Your mom is so sweet and, like, empathetic and all of that stuff. Aww. And then my friend that hasn't met you yet was like, yeah, your mom looks really scary. Like, I saw her in the car. She looks really scary.
I'm going to get you, bitch. Oh, gosh. All right. Joel says, haha, good at confrontation. She's right. Not afraid to address a challenge head on and quickly. Yeah. You just got to get shit done, right? Just, confront it.
Got to get to it.
Yep. Wendy, thank you so much for being here, Wendy. She says, I agree with Carmen. I see Sarah as passionate with a huge heart, can be serious, but loyal and loving. Thank you so much for that, Wendy. And I think that, you know, again, it's the mirror. You're also that. You have a huge heart, you know, and so it is interesting whenever we look at those types of things. Carrie said, good point, Riley. Fear is a natural instinct and can be gut driven as well. Divine also said, I love her truth bombs. Oh, that's so awesome. All right, I got a long one here from Jake. I'm going back up. He said, I love these points, techniques for maintaining good emotional energy, comedy. One thing that I've also done lately is look at content I view as inspirational and give me a feeling of wonder that makes me look forward to the future. And one such example is watching History of the Universe on YouTube or watching the exciting developments in the space industry. Are there any specific sources you all go to for inspiration? What about you, Riley?
Pinterest. Pinterest. I love Pinterest. I go on there. It helps me with making outfits for Halloween, birthday presents. It's so cute. It helps me create vision boards. It helps me print pictures. It's just amazing. I love Pinterest. That's my source.
Yeah. My source is I do several different things. I've talked about the fact that I meet with a depth psychologist. So some of the things that I do is dream analysis. So I'll analyze my dreams to really understand things. But from an inspiration perspective, you know, I think it's in different ways. I love just viewing different types of content as well. I love, there's a particular person, I'm going to pull out one of his cards, the Diary of a CEO. And so one of them, I have these cards. It's so I'm just pulling out this particular card. What is the one belief or behavior that has positively impacted your life in the past 12 months? So they have a bunch of different cards with just questions. And for me, just asking questions and asking people questions and people asking me questions, that's where I get probably most of my energy and inspiration.
What about your bungee group?
Yeah, the bungee jumpers, I really enjoy them as well, just because they're very curious. So I love just having curious conversations with people.
Yeah.
I also get inspiration from you as well. Like I love our card talks. And, one, you'll ask me just really insightful, inquisitive questions. And then sometimes you say things that I'm just like, where did you get that? I'm just amazed. I'm like, who did you get this? I'm like, I don't think I taught you that. So you just have the most amazing insights at times.
I love our card talks.
Yeah, they're fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I get a lot of our card talks from like seeing videos or something like that. And I'm like, I want to talk to my mom about that.
I love that. And I always know when something's up. She's always like, you wanna get in the car? You wanna like go take a trip, or
you wanna go to Dairy Queen?
Yeah. Go get some ice cream. Tiffany is joining us. She said, first, I love seeing Riley with you today. Also, I've always loved your confidence and fearless personality. Thank you, Tiffany. Again, Mir, you're confident, you're fearless as well. And yes, she is amazing. My daughter is just, as I said at the very beginning, my favorite person on this planet. She's just so full of energy. That's why I love having her today for this topic. And so Divine says, I get the same energy perspectives from my children's friends. Wonder. Oh, she also said Pinterest and Canva I like. And she also said, is it divination? Tools like oracle cards and inspirational cards. I enjoy singing. Ooh, and sound healing. Oh, I love that too. That is one of the things that I love as well. Like I've talked about that before. I love binaural beats. I love sound healing. That's one of the things that I really, really enjoy. I also enjoy singing. I also enjoy dancing. And so funny enough, I actually did an analysis. I had AI do an analysis of my posts and then this was specifically LinkedIn. And this is what it said. It said, my theme, tell me whether what your thoughts are on this. It says, high energy positive. You frequently channel uplifting energy, spreading positive vibes and encouraging others to embrace and shift energy. Emotional intelligence. You consistently reflect on emotional and physical interplay and encourage awareness, boundaries, and self-care. Celebrates enthusiasm. You post like family fun, dancing, and posting upbeat content show you are energized by joy and shared connection and coping with overwhelm. You're not afraid to address stress or challenge and offer practical, heartfelt strategies to navigate through them.
That definitely describes like your post, and definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the things we haven't talked about is boundaries, and I think we had a question on that. And so what challenging environments have tested your energy boundaries, and what do you do to protect your energy?
That's a hard question. I don't really know.
Well, so, I mean, we've talked a lot about boundaries in establishing boundaries. So everything from consent, of establishing that nobody has the right to hug you, to touch you from a physical perspective. Nobody has the right from an emotional perspective to manipulate you. And here recently we even had some further conversations on even that. One of the things that I was talking to Riley about is that she has some very strong people in her life, including, me. But there have been times that I wasn't the strong, confident person that I am today. And so I sat there and talked to her about how sometimes you can get in a relationship and lose yourself, which is in a lot of ways losing your energy, losing your who it is that you are in life. And so we talked about that. And I just talked to her about the fact that, one, knowing what your values are in life. So if you don't know those things in life, you can't then come back and say, am I doing something that is impacting yourself as you're in a relationship? Because a lot of times love is blind, as they say. And, Riley was like, I've never been in love. I said, I know. And I said, that's why I'm having the conversation with you, that it's important to understand and know what your values are. So I'm not going to say you're making a mistake or you shouldn't be with that person. I'm simply going to say, are you honoring your values? And that for me is, for her to think about the things that she is doing and whether it is truly honoring herself, honoring her energy, honoring who it is that she is as a person. And I think a lot of times as parents, we want what's best for our kids. And we want to protect them, protect their energy, and do all these things. But in the same breath, a lot of times we're not doing what we, the things that actually can help them, which is really teaching them, getting them to know themselves and understanding their values. Do you remember that conversation?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. And so when we had that, maybe talk a little bit about how it is that you, what were some of the things that you were feeling as I was saying those things?
I felt like that wouldn't happen to me, because I know that it's hard to tell whenever it's happening and all of that stuff. But I feel like it wouldn't happen to me.
And I told her, I said, reflect on that. I said, and I pointed out multiple people she knows personally that are all super strong women, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, this happened to all of them. including me. Like, I lost myself in my first marriage. Like, I didn't really honor who I was as a person. And I said, so just know that it can happen to you too. So we need to be able to have a way to be able to communicate with each other and say, hey, are you honoring your values? Yeah.
I mean, I
And I
feel like,
know,
oh,
go ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
I feel like that in a relationship, I've been in one, and I definitely held them accountable for their actions. Like, when they said something that was unkind to my friend, I didn't talk to them for 2 days. So, I mean, because that was really unacceptable. It was rude to my friend. It was very rude. And recently, they tried talking to me again, and I reminded them of this situation. Was like, yeah, no, when you start acting better than, like, we got into a relationship and he started to have an ego, and I was like, that's not gonna fly. When you start to act better and treat people better, then we can talk again. Because
Yeah. And so it's more about healthy relationship, right?
Yeah.
And so let me also ask you to reflect. So you ignored this person. Do you think that that is healthy?
I mean, it helped them realize that they were wrong, because at first they had no idea that what they did was wrong, and I was like, okay, you need to, like, think about it, and, like,
Okay. So you did have a conversation, and then you pulled away and said,
yeah,
like, I'm going to need some space.
yeah,
Okay. Did you communicate that to them? Like, I'm going to
yeah.
need, I'm okay. That is,
I was like, yeah, we're not gonna call for a little bit,
okay.
especially when I'm hanging out with this friend.
That's super healthy. Explaining what you have a challenge with and also what you need to be able to reflect upon things. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. And so we have some other things coming in from other people. Jen Roberts says, I get inspiration from those who are simply kind and kind to humanity. Watching how others interact with humankind gives me energy. Simple acts of kindness, again, gives me hope that loves win, not hate. Yeah, I just posted something recently about, it was a guy, didn't even know these people, and he went into a house to save this child. And it's just those types of things, just the bravery and the kindness and the things that sometimes people will do in life that are just inspirational in life. And so thank you for that, Jen. Carrie also says, wonderful that you find inspiration in creating things. Is there anything you've thought you would want to do creatively, but need tools or more exposure, knowledge to get into it?
Well, something that me and my mom have been, like, kind of figuring out and talking about, there was a presentation I did for my health class, and it was like, and we had to design a little, like, poster for, like, to, like, not do drugs, and, like, saying, like, it's not cool, like, all that stuff. And I was really proud of it, because it only took me 20 minutes, and I think I did pretty good. She said I did good. So, like, and then she was telling me about how, like, that's what she does, and I was like, really? I did not think that that's what she did.
That's how I got into it. So I'll just explain a little bit. So she showed me this, and I was like, wow. I was like, just the design layout and the colors and just everything had great design aspects to it from a graphic design perspective. And so I asked her questions. I was like, did you decide to put this here? Was this a layout that you got? Or did you make these choices? And she was like, no, I did this. And I'm like, well, that's graphic design. Like, that's part of marketing. And so we were just talking about that. And so that's one of the things she has determined that she really likes is just the creative side of things. All right, let me go back real quick. Let's see. Divine also says, we can honor our integrity and protect our energy. Oh, there's a yawn. By any means necessary. And so we can honor our integrity and protect our energy by any means necessary. Yeah, honoring our integrity in life. So, what does that? How does that hit with you on honoring your integrity?
What's integrity again?
So, it like honesty. So
Oh.
doing what you say you'll do, that type of thing. Integrity is also owning up to me, it's also owning up to your mistakes as well.
I try really hard to own up to my mistakes, even though it's like really hard sometimes. Because sometimes I think I'm right, but then like I get proven otherwise, and so it's really hard to like honor the mistakes that I made. But I think I do a well job on it, and I think I'm very loyal. I think I'm very loyal.
I agree. Tiffany also says that I should write a book on parenting. What do you think about that?
You should.
Yeah, maybe you
A
could
lot of
join
people.
me.
A lot
Maybe
of
you
people
can help me with it.
I could write a little section about kids.
Yeah, and
Gotcha.
and talk about what was effective for you.
Yeah.
I like it. Jen says, yes, boundaries are vital. Losing yourself and self-identity based on those you surround yourself. You need to be vigilant in who you allow in your life. Trust and those who lift you up and support are key. Interesting. I feel like, Jen, you've said this before. Tell me if you haven't. I almost feel like deja vu. And so I feel like I might even have said that the last time as well. But this very much is something, for whatever reason, that is really resonating with me, with you. And so boundaries are vital. Losing yourself and self-identity. I definitely resonate with that with my first marriage. Losing your identity or your energy or who it is that you are, not setting those boundaries, and really not even knowing what healthy boundaries, like that's not something that people teach a lot of times. But Riley, that's something that you feel like you've been taught what healthy boundaries are, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I know what that is, and
Yeah.
I think I've said some.
Yeah. I traded my values for Valme's, Ernest says. What do you think about that?
That's cute. I like that.
Ernest has a lot of books as well that he's writing. So he does poems and things like that. So for those that are interested, check out Ernest. He also has, I believe, at least one book, if not multiple, that he has for sale, but he also does poems. I just love his creativeness and his insightfulness in the things that he writes. So thank you for joining us, Ernest. Let's see, I pulled integrity is connected to values as well. Yeah. Yep. And then keeping our word and commitments to ourselves, integrity. Yep. Keeping our word and commitments. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. All right. So I think we're going to start to end things today. We were at the top of the hour. I actually was not sure if we would get to an hour. I didn't know how today was going to go. So one, I just want to thank everyone for joining us today and helping us as we were going through this. Your interactiveness really helped us throughout. Don't you think, Riley?
Yes, thank you, all my fans. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Oh, I love her. You can see why I love her, everyone. Oh, she's just amazing. She's I just love her silliness. And one of the things that I think Dad loves the most is he will say things with like sarcasm or things like that, and he loves it when she dishes it back to him.
My favorite one is every time I would fill up my the ice thing, he'd be like, "Did you get any in the thing?" And so when he did it one time, he was filling it up and he got ice everywhere. I was like, "Did you get any in it?" Like, come on, guy. Like,
He loves that she calls him out on stuff. I love it. All right. So maybe at the as a final thought, Riley, if you were to think about energy and how it is that people can help themselves from an energy perspective, or even evaluate their energy, what advice would you have for people on how they can maybe better or improve, or things that they can do to, even if it's just small things that they can do to help them with their energy throughout the day?
Yeah. I know that since I'm a kid, I already have like a bunch of energy and physical. So like I think for adults and like all that stuff, I think that helping them a walk is a great way to help with them. It's just going out there, listening to your favorite song, a podcast. I love listening to murder podcasts, so that's really nice. I feel like a walk is just really helpful to drown out all their problems.
Yeah. I love that. For me, the advice would be several different things. It would be, one, make sure that how you start your morning off is in a positive way, that you're doing something that fills you up. So whether that's listening to music, whether that's dancing, whether that's having a good cup of coffee, whether that's, taking a bath or a really nice shower, or whatever it is that energizes you, do it in the morning, because it really sets the tone for the rest of the day. And then if for whatever reason you get off kilter, if someone does something, just take some time to breathe. One of the things that I have found to be able to get back my energy, or to get back into the groove, is just take some time for yourself. So stop what you're doing, go breathe, go spend some time, walking on, with your bare feet outside, or just, sitting and just breathing in, breathing out, to be able to sort of reset yourself. Because a lot of times people don't take time to pause in their life. They're just going. And a lot of times we just need time to, feel what we're feeling, taking a pause and taking a moment to reflect.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. So you do have some requests. Bring back Riley to teach us some Gen Z lingo. They love your silliness. She says, I love it. And Bryce said, such great energy, keep being awesome, Riley. So
I can't stop being awesome. Just happens naturally.
no, it's just who you are, is awesome.
I know, right?
I love it. Okay, if you were to leave us with one Gen Z lingo, which one are you gonna choose?
I'm talking about in it. I'm talking about in it.
In it?
So that's like for like, it's kind of like when you're eating something, like you're like, I'm talking about in that stuff.
Jamie's here. She said, I could help with the Gen Z lingo. So maybe I just need to have like a whole crew of Gen Zs on, and you guys just do the whole show in Gen Z lingo.
No one would understand it.
We'll have a translator down at the bottom after. Jamie says, yes. But you couldn't do anything but Gen Z lingo. So it'd have to be law. She ate, like all these things. I just love her face whenever I tried using Gen Z lingo. She said, laugh out loud, in it. Is that what I heard?
No, I'm talking about in it.
In it. Oh, well, I hope this Friday we have elevated your energy today. I know that that the start of the day with my daughter joining me has definitely elevated my energy. And so, Riley, thank you so much for joining us, your beautiful soul, and just being here and sharing your energy with us today.
It was fun.
Good. And so, yes, comedy. Thank you. All right, everyone. Have an amazing Friday. And we will see you next week when we will also be bringing on 2 individuals that will be talking about sales synergy. So we have 2 amazing salespeople that will be joining us and how energy impacts sales. So everyone, please come back next Friday to join us for that. And again, thank you everyone for joining us, and especially for all the interaction, and just a secondary thank you to my daughter for being just amazing and awesome.
Smash that subscribe button.
I love it. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.